You know, he's kind of cute when he's sleeping.
Now fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch.
You guys knew this shit was coming, and here it is. This time, I'm not holding back. Hey, what's up you fucking degenerates? And does anyone remember the first video that came out on my channel?
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
Yeah, that one. Well, after constantly reviewing it, looking through the comments, answering comments, laughing at some butthurt Nalu fans who can't even accept an opinion, I decided to remake this video and give not only much more clear audio, but much more clear opinions on why I personally think that Nalu was complete bullshit. I also plan on making a Groovia video very soon, which will then explain why I personally think Groovia is bullshit. And of course, with the last season of Voltron that came out like 2 months ago, I'll be doing an Allurance video as well. To be honest, originally, I made this channel just so I could post that anti-Nalu video, because I practically had a laundry list of opinions in regards to the ship. But since my channel has been growing, I realized that it's important to be a little more variant in my topics, along with perhaps remaking a video or two if I decide that I didn't like the end results overall. And so, for this video, we're going to be going back to the topic of Nalu. A ship that I don't hate, but a ship that I have grown a distaste for. I'm gonna do my best to not be like other antis with their reasons for why they despise Nalu. And I'm not even gonna bring up Lasana Dragneel X because... good fucking god. Tumblr is a wonderful place, ain't it? So without much further ado, let's get to the topic of why I think Nalu is complete bullshit.
Fucking pelicans! Yeah, I'm not sure we're really ready to go around posting flyers.
Now, Natsu, to put it simply, is a meathead. He's the kind of guy who will be there to kick ass and then ask questions right after or later, since he forgets shit rather easily like a child born with short-term memory loss. He's goofy, loyal, passionate towards the people he cares about, is constantly sick whenever he gets onto moving vehicles, gives the best smiles, is sexy as fuck, and just all around a good boy. It's because of this kind of character archetype that he's considered one of the top main characters in the anime community. Unless, you know, you want to count Anime Ranker's opinion, but I digress. In any case, he's a memorable character because of how much of a goofy character he is, and because of the amount of badass moments he has thanks to the power of Nakama. But is that really a good thing? Because here's the thing when it comes to Natsu as a character. While Natsu is considered the deuteragonist since he's the second main character of the series, he's treated as though he's the main protagonist, and because of this idea that he is on a high pedestal, he doesn't actually grow as a character. When you think about it, a lot of the times, you don't see protagonists actually grow throughout modern stories. They usually just stay static, yet people love them because of their appearance, their morals, their ambitions, their personality, whatever. A lot of stories typically focus more on one aspect of a character and magnify it rather than expanding it and showing viewers that there are different sides to them and how they react to different situations. And unfortunately, Natsu is considered a static character, much like fairy tale story and plotline. While I do adore Natsu and I do appreciate and love him as a character, I hate the fact that he doesn't change one single bit. He continues to remain as a meathead who kicks ass and eats fire, and he already ate the goddamn flames. He continues to act as though he's the best, with him having his comedic moments that either revolve around fan service, motion sickness, and him just being an idiot as a whole. While that is what makes him such a lovable character mixed with his badass moments, nobody seems to realize that at some point the constant jokes and ass pulls start to become overdone or redundant to some viewers. They'll just keep reading wondering when the real action and story building will begin, or they'll just want to drop the series entirely because because they just lost the hope of the story ever actually progressing instead of this constant rinse and repeat we have been given from beginning to end. While yes, Natsu has improved in strength at some point during the manga, with him actually showing off the powers that could potentially make him an S-class wizard, he doesn't show any improvement as a person, and to me, that's a problem. When you write a lovable character like Natsu, you don't want to keep him static for too long. You want to show the fans more to work with should they create any fan content. And a lot of the times, popular characters become shippable characters, which is pretty true in this case of Natsu. But it's kind of hard for plenty of people, including me, to really get in touch with who Natsu is as a person, if not a single aspect has really changed other than his strength and how his narrative constantly stresses over how much he loves his guild and wants to protect the people he cares about. Overall, Natsu is a static character. He doesn't change as a person, he doesn't grow out of being a child in a man's body, and all he really does is show off how strong he's gotten over the course of the series. But hey, he still gives the best smiles. Look at this sexy, adorable motherfucker!
You don't look like it, but I'm a wizard.
I'm not even gonna say what you look like.
Now, Lucy is actually the protagonist of the story, yet she's not treated like it, nor does she act like it. She more so acts like the token female character you'd see in certain shows like Smurfette from the Smurfs, the new Powerpuff Girls with its token dark-skinned Powerpuff Girl, Death Note with Misa Misa pretty much considered and even acting like a token female. The list goes on, I'm sure you get the picture. Unlike Natsu, however, there are actually plenty of times where Lucy not only tries to improve in strength, but she tries to improve as a person in both ambition and goals. Especially considering that she ran away from the high life of being a rich girl who could have anything she ever wanted should she ask for it, which would kind of explain her vain attitude in the beginning of the series. Despite that, though, she's caring, kind, boobylicious, a good girl, and above all, an independent woman who doesn't need a man to take care of her. Oh, wait. Never mind. Okay, let me just scratch independent off the list. Now, yes, Lucy is strong. I mean, she has shown the improvement throughout the course of the series, especially in Tartaros, where she actually manages to open 3 gates and then use the last bit of her strength to summon the Spirit King. To be honest, that really proves to me that she's actually trying to improve in strength and as a person, especially when she realizes that she constantly relies on others to help her whenever she gets caught in situations she can't handle. However, that doesn't mean that she's not emotionally weak. Now, some bits are actually understandable, especially with losing Aquarius. Her crying for her is a pretty valid reason to be reduced to a blubbering mess, but that's not what I meant when I said emotionally weak. What I meant by it is that she seems to have this habit of emotionally relying on people, especially Natsu, to an unhealthy degree. She has this habit of romanticizing her life and tends to uphold expectations that can be a little unreasonable at times. However, this thankfully happens rather rarely, so it's not really that big of an issue. But if there's one issue that stands out, it's the fact that she's a bit of a realist and a Debbie Downer. She tends to look at the negative sides of things a little too often, has a hard time taking a joke, sarcasm, or the recklessness of fairy tale despite being with them for a long while, and can be a little strict at unnecessary times. Lucy would be what you would consider a down-to-earth girl who is a little bit of a realist and can be a vain person at times when it is not needed. There's also the fact that she's the poster girl for fan service throughout the series, especially when it is completely unnecessary and it is always done unironically. It kind of sucks how a morally strong female character gets reduced to nothing but the boobs and butt and kind of shows signs of a woman who needs someone to look after her. And no, I don't think her celestial keys count as her relying on anyone because it's a part of her magic, so I'm not counting it. Honestly, I think I would have appreciated Lucy a little more if she'd stopped being so negative at times. I mean, it's okay to have doubts, but doubting the people you've been with for a while kind of destroys the purpose of having a close friendship. You know what I mean?
Come on, you said that you wanted to join the fairy tale guild, didn't you? So let's go.
Okay, so as we know how the samba dance goes, girl meets boy, boy meets girl, they form a friendship, they cha-cha-cha around each other for a bit, and then one or the other asks the other out, they start dating, get married at the end of the series, and pop out a baby or two when the credits roll. It's cliche as fuck and typical, but I mean, hey, a lot of people seem to like it for some reason, even though it's never really been all that new. However, here's the problem when it comes to the ship of Nalu. They do nothing but cha-cha-cha around each other. In fact, nothing provides any amount of proof that the couple in itself is developing into a romantic relationship, much less a healthy one. If anything, it just seems as though Lucy is the only one who is growing a romantic interest towards this pink-haired idiot, and Natsu is continuing to remain as the meathead we all know and love. I thought it was a good time to celebrate when I saw how Natsu pretty much swerved Lucy when the manga ended.
That's that type of shit that make me swerve, 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 swerve. Yeah, that's that type of shit.
It was not only typical and something to be expected, but it was actually pretty hilarious being able to laugh at the Nalu fanbase, which we'll get to that in a moment. Now, how it typically operates annoys the fuck out of me, because it just gives me quite a big reason to grow a distaste for the ship in its entirety. It's not the fact that it's a ship where it's your average main female and main male getting together, but it's the fact that it's a literal rinse and repeat ship that does nothing but continue to dance around each other. And nothing progresses other than the slight backtracking of previous events when a new arc begins. Cause, you know, it's for the sake of the plot that later got shot in a field somewhere after the Phantom Lord arc. I promise you that if you were to rewatch or reread the series, you'd see what I'm talking about. It's nothing but a constant rinse and repeat, and the only difference is the situation and setting. That is it. The characters don't change or grow, and the relationship between Natsu and Lucy doesn't grow one single bit. The relationship is completely static and is nothing but a baiting tactic for its fans to drool and slobber over. And don't even get me started on the fan service bit that people seem to believe are shipping moments, when really they're just completely unnecessary. Honestly, you don't need to rely on sexual implications or situations to develop a relationship. There are plenty of other ways to actually write a story arc for a relationship to form between two characters, and you don't have to implement the element of fan service to get some point across that they are meant to be together. There's also the fact that Lucy is pretty interested in guys who are assertive, and Natsu just barely fits that category. I'm pretty sure if they were to be together, it would be more like Lucy giving birth to 2 kids instead of 1. Just saying. I don't know, maybe if Hiro Mashima actually took them seriously, instead of giving off vague bullshit such as the whole more than friends but less than lovers bullshit, he would have actually had something. But nah, I've grown tired of his baiting bullshit, and I've grown tired of the fact that he can't even do different character designs for his new series, Eden Zero. I can't get into the ship of Nalu, nor can I really support it if it doesn't even give me a single reason to give a shit about it. Case closed. I'm gonna try not to get into detail with this, considering how its fan base is pretty self-explanatory. Simply put, I'll just put up some screenshots of the YouTube comments in my old Nalu video. Oh, it gets better. It gets much worse from here. And I can go on, but now I'm sure you get the picture. And I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some Nalu shippers watching this video being like,
Is he gonna check his privilege? That's not going to happen.
Well, not every Nalu shipper is bad.
and you're right. I'm not saying that all Nalu shippers are bad, nor did that sentence ever come out my mouth. The thing is, I've actually spoken with a few Nalu shippers who are reasonable, respectful, and above all, a decent person. Unfortunately, they're considered diamonds in the rough for the massive fan base that is just chocked full of people who act like it's the end of the world if you so much as bring up Lasagna to their face. I mean shit, if y'all remember Vine, the fucking anti-Nalu Vines were just annoying as fuck, especially since they were fucking everywhere and that was just ridiculous. The whole Nalu versus Nolly is the most childish bullshit I've ever witnessed in a fandom, especially considering how violent some Nalu fans can get. Which is why they use ships like Bixana to help them feel better about the idea that Natsu is exclusively for Lucy, when really, he's a fucking idiot that doesn't even think about romance at all. I mean, these two never interacted with each other, but keep telling yourselves that it works if it makes you feel better. And let's also not forget that a very big chunk of the fandom doesn't even see Natsu and Lucy as characters. They just see them as two people who like to fuck like animals, with them turning Natsu into some creepy sexual deviant, and Lucy being in between a dominatrix or a submissive that likes to beg for dick. There's also the terrible fanfictions that you practically see anywhere you go, especially on Wattpad. So, that's fun. I really don't see the appeal in making Lucy Natsu's sex slave, but I mean, if it gets you off, then I'm not judging. So, I've been getting this argument a lot, and I mean a lot, where Nalu shippers like to make this claim that just because Hiro Mashima draws certain ships on his Twitter graffiti, that means it's canon. Well, if that's the case, then this is canon. What's your excuse? Overall, this was a ship that barely existed to begin with. It's not properly developed, the characters completely pull each other away rather than push each other forward, and there is no sign that it's ever going to change, with Lucy developing as a character with flaws, and Natsu just remaining as the dumbass who has this battle mentality and wants to do nothing but kick ass and show off. I don't know, maybe if Mashima had Natsu mature a little bit in the middle of the series, I would have been down, but unfortunately, that never happened. So with that, I will conclude this video by saying, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, hit that like button. If you're interested in my content, hit that subscribe button and the little bell next to it, so you can be notified of my videos the moment they are released. See you later!